All right, folks, welcome back to the Family Success Secrets podcast. We are pleased to have with us today Mr. Tony Caggiano. He is an entrepreneur and a veteran entrepreneur, that with 30 plus years of experience as a business owner and a philanthropist. And nowadays he's looking for ways that he can give back and help those who have needs. He's also known as the ADA Comply Guide. Now that's the Americans with Disabilities Act. So he helps to get software for their websites to be in compliance with ADA guidelines to improve traffic and helpfulness for the people who would be potential customers who would make use of that. In addition to that, he is also husband to Mrs. Kimberly Caggiano, who wrote a book a few years ago about their journey as a special needs family with a son who is diagnosed with autism. He also has a podcast called The Entrepreneurial Journey with a Facebook page of the same name. Tony, did I get any or all of that right?
Spot on, spot on.
Yay.
Thank you.
All right, cool.
Welcome. We're so glad to have you today.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
All right, cool. So we're glad to have you here. If you would, sir, can you take a minute just to give us a little bit of your own backstory, perhaps in your own words?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like you said, I've been an entrepreneur for many years. But one of the biggest things that I wanted a lot, even from a younger age, is I knew that I wanted to have a great family. And it took me a while to, make sure that I found the right person that I was compatible with, to find my best friend and the person that I knew I was going to marry. And when I met Kimberly, she and I just clicked, and we just knew right away. So,
nice.
I appreciate being on this podcast and being able to talk about, what we've done and experienced together. And, it's a pleasure to share some of my stories with you and with others to see if we can help them as well.
Nice. So, in, I guess, a sort of quick fashion, can you give us an idea of what type of businesses you've owned and operated that comprise that 30-year entrepreneurial journey?
There's been several. The couple of the big ones, I started out in college as a disc jockey because I knew I didn't want to work a typical job. So I had a friend whose dad owned a roller skating rink, and he taught me how to be a DJ. And then I found a mentor to teach me how to do weddings. And for 22 years, I drove around New England doing weddings, all kinds of big fancy weddings. So I had that business. I also owned an IT managed services company. Started off building computers like Michael Dell back in the day, and grew it to a regional company. And then most recently, before my current endeavor, my wife and I owned a drop-in childcare center in our local community because we used it for many years when we moved down to North Carolina. But the owners were going to sell it and close it. And we're like, no, you can't do that. Everybody needs it. And so we stepped in and purchased it, and it was a great business because our kids were involved because they like to go there. But as they got older, they kind of helped with the business and helped, with different chores. And so we got them involved, which was really a lot of fun as well. So
nice.
That's some of the things that we've done.
That's cool. Yeah, we'll pick up on their involvement.
Yes.
in another time. But
that's really awesome that they were involved. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So you were a wedding DJ for 20 plus years. Did you do any singing? I've seen a movie about this. Did you do any singing?
I wasn't a wedding singer. I used to sing behind make sure nobody heard me. But no, I used to like to do some singing, but I was mostly playing the music. So
all right, that's fair. That's fair. Well, I won't press the matter there. I wouldn't have sang either.
My wife is the amazing singer.
Yeah. All right. Cool. We'll get her to sing a bit if we can get her on the podcast next.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yes, if she likes that. All right, sir. If you would, we like to try and introduce to the families in our audience things that either we, or in our case, where we have a special guest who has some experience and expertise in other things, to try and pass back to the community, something that you've learned, something that you think might be a good help to a family, whether you're talking to a family who might be right where you are today, or maybe you're talking to yourself 10 years ago, right? And what you wish you would have known from 10 years ago. What's something that you might pass on to say to them, here's something that I think would help your family to bring joy to your life or to relieve a situation?
If I had to choose just one to talk about right now, it would definitely be to listen to one another. And, years before I was married, I was on a self-improvement kick, and I learned a lot about, self-improvement and trying to better myself every single day. But one of the big lessons that I actually learned being married and having, one of the things Kim has really taught me is to be able to see myself through her eyes. And by listening to one another, even sometimes when you have disagreements, or the kids, or even you have disagreements with your kids, always take time, after things cool down. Every family has their times of stress and arguments and whatnot, but when things cool down, sit down and talk about what happened and listen to one another, because even your kids at a young age can have insights about how they're feeling. And then if your kids can understand that you're there to listen to them, you can really, they'll listen to you as they get older and older. Like our oldest son is 15 now, and I'm thankful that he still comes to us to talk to us. It's on his terms. It's always late at night. He won't talk to us during the day. He's a typical teenager and on the spectrum. But so we've learned that his time is later on at night, right before we want to go to bed. So we take the time, and we know that that's going to happen. So we sit down and we listen to what he has to say, so that he can stay connected with us, and he feels that he's being listened to as well. So listening is a big thing, and that's helped me also in business, to listen to your clients, listen to coworkers. Anything that you're doing is really listen and listen well. So
Nice. I like that. And do you have more than one kid?
I do. My younger son Aiden, he's 10, and Dylan just turned 15.
Okay, so two kids. I'm going to guess that they both have different communication styles, and
They absolutely
so
do.
what works for your 15-year-old probably doesn't at all resemble what works for your other child, and so I'm guessing you have to tailor that to some degree. Hey,
Absolutely, they are two totally separate kids. Everybody says, why are your kids so different? Well, they are absolutely two different personalities, two different kids. So we take each one individually and figure out what works, and how they are able to learn and communicate, so that we can learn ourselves how to be better parents to them.
Sure. All right, that's cool.
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, that's very helpful. And I have heard many times we were given 2 ears for a reason and only one mouth. And it's a good indication of our ratio of how much we should listen versus how much we should speak.
Yes, I've heard that as well.
Right on. Okay, so we're gonna ask now. Can you tell us, tell our audience rather, where that they can find you? Social media, maybe the book, the podcast, all of those different things, websites.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm big on Facebook, so I'm all over the place. I have my main Facebook profile. I have a Facebook page for the ADA Comply Guy, for what I do with that. But I also have, like you had mentioned earlier, the Entrepreneurial Journey is my Facebook group, which goes along with my my podcast. And also you can reach me through my wife's page. It's putting the pieces together book.com. That's her book, and she's also on Facebook, Kimberly Caggiano. So
Nice, very good. All right, sir. So we want to thank you for joining us today. It's been our pleasure to have you here with us.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. And if you don't mind, we're going to say, hey, let's get you back on the podcast here really soon.
I can't wait.
We'll enjoy doing a deeper dive into talking more about family and all the great things you've learned over the years of running businesses and a great family. So,
indeed.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks again.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, cool.